Yes, guys, blessed love, love and light. We are here live at ABW Signature Media Plus. I'm looking kind of crooked just now. I'm kind of straight myself. Right. What somebody might say that they see me brushed up. Yes, so yeah. All right, let me see if I could share this live right now. So we're here at ABW Signature Media Plus. And for quite a while we were off air. We have a lot of things that were going on culturally, as well as what else was happening? Oh, logistics. So we were working on that. And we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So look for We Don't Give a Sip on Facebook and We Don't Give a Sip on YouTube. All right, so you could follow us there. All right, so guys, let me see. All right, make sure my volume is down. And I'm at my lonesome self today, right? Wifey not here, and my special guest last minute cancel. And all you owe me for this one. All you really owe me for this one. So, but nevertheless, we're gonna make it happen anyway. I just say thank God for giving me the gift of gab. So I could be able to handle the situation here on my own. All right? Let me see. Let me share. Let me see. Yep. Bam, bam. Get some people coming in on the live. All right. And guys, as soon as I get the live, I'll share it. Yeah? I'll share it. All right. We have an interesting topic. Are we dating for connection or are we dating for money? Right? Since the dating scene, a lot of women have been complaining about the dating scene. They haven't seen any good prospects out there. Again, the question I'm going to ask is, what are you dating for? What are you looking for in dating a guy? Are you looking for the transactional means, or are you looking for a meaningful connection? You understand? Sometimes we go into, many of us, whether male or female, go into relationships or go into the dating scene by the way of having high expectations. And having those high expectations, you tend to have great disappointments, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to understand and know that you are dealing with another individual, right? A whole individual dealing with another individual. You're talking about a person with upbringing, whatever that background may be, so they have their own ideas for their life and so forth. So going to having those expectations, I tend to kind of like deter people away from that if they ask me for advice, right? If they ask me for advice in regards to dating. You understand? Because at the end of the day, right, it's all about who you can become in the relationship. Yes, it's all about who you can become, being your individual self, going after your goals and your dreams and so forth. But at the end, when you do look for that person that you want to date or who you would want to see in your life for long term, you have to understand that they have their aspirations, they have their dreams and so forth, and goals that they may have set. And I was hearing this some time ago on a video where a woman would have divorced her husband because they had different dreams. Now, in something like that, I would basically say that is an excuse. She wanted to come out of the relationship. For me, she should have just dated too. You want to come out. You wanted something more. Now, I still have a question in regards to whether something more is concerned, because I does always be like hearing women saying, I wanted something more. More of what? Right? before I myself came to the studio, I was watching a video with a young lady crying and stated that everything about her marriage is good, but it seems like it's not enough. Now, these are the things that I'm seeing circulating in on social media. And by all means, yes, we know that the algorithm gonna show up as to what you are talking about on your page. So they tend to divert a lot of information of that nature to your page or to your view. Right? So this woman was crying about, her husband being a good man, being a good husband, and it is not enough for her. So we go into dating, and that starts from the dating. So sometimes we just ask, I would ask the question again, when you set out to date, what are you really truly looking for? Are you looking for, again, the long term, where you have the connection, meaningful connection, whereby if the money come to a halt, where he lose his job or you lose your job, what happened next? Do you all figure out a way to continue, or you go your way, I go my way because the money done? You understand? And people don't even realize how this thing is in regards to putting a relationship on the basis on the tangibles. And they don't even realize that is a rocky, what they call an unstable foundation. You understand? So guys, we're going to dive into the conversation, and I want people to participate, ask your questions. I may not be able to have all the answers. Let me tell you that one time. I only might be able to give all based on opinion, based on what research I would have done, things I would have seen, and so forth, and I will share from that perspective. I'm no way an expert in regards to where relationship is concerned. If you had to ask me, I'm an expert in my relationship, my personal relationship, right? So wherever go for me, right? But wherever may go for me, may not go for you, but I could advise you as to how I would have dealt with that, and then you could be able to, take the meat, throw the wound, right? So let me see here. Let me see who is here. Let me go back and share. Right, share now. Right. Yo, Dane, blessed love, and light. Right, so again, we're talking about dating, right? And we're talking about the aspect of whereby are you dating for transactional dating, or are you dating for long-term connection? Now, as I said before, my guest was supposed to be here tonight, and she's not able to make it, as well as my wife not able to make it. So we had a whole debate during the course of the week on the topic, and I choose basically connection, right? For deeper connection, having a meaningful connection in regards to progressing the date towards a place where it could be long-term, and, having a life partner. And obviously my co-host would have been on the idea of transactional means, whereby are coming for my health. Now, there are some aspects of dating basically that deals in like when you're going out to date, right? And like I was saying, some guy was saying before that anytime he going out on a date for the first time, he would never choose a dinner date. Now, the dinner date basically deals with the more of the, what do you call it, the banquet type, dressing up nice, they're looking elegantly casual or elegantly casual or elegantly dressed, right? Where you have the candlelight dinner, looking for sophisticated, looking like you're rich out here. And as he was saying, basically in that type of date, the reason why he would not choose that dinner date as the first date is because of the fact that you're not knowing whether the woman is on the basis of for the food or for you. And then you could be able to leave it to her choice as to, okay, what do you think, where do you want to go for your first date? And if she choose the dinner date, he was saying that, okay, if she choose the dinner date, it's more about the food and less about you, right? Because the setting tend to be like far apart, right? Where it's like a interview setting, and you're having a set of plates in front of you, and so forth and whatnot. A lot of things that's be in front of you when it comes to the dinner date, and you're not getting that intimate aspect of it, whereby it's a getting to know situation. So the dinner date, I would actually, deal with that also, right? And let me kind of surround it to our culture. For me, if I had was to choose a dinner date, him a dinner date, if I also choose to carry out carry out a young lady for the first time for a date, I would choose the sea. It may sound funny, but it's the truth. Either the sea or the river. Low going to nature. In other words, no, whatever you tend to put on your face, the makeup you tend to put on your face, it go wash off. So I see the real you. You understand? I see the real you. It may sound funny, but understand where I'm coming from. I'm a natural person. I like to deal with natural stuff. I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear nothing that is flashy, right? The only thing for me supposed to be flashy is my car. You understand? And that's not even flashy. But when it comes to, dating, as I say, I will seek after a more natural person, like with my wife. When I dated my wife, well, we never started off dating per se. But, dating my wife, it's in marriage, there's a different ball game. But we're talking about in the initial stages that you're in the dating world, and you're basically asking yourself, okay, who am I looking for? What are my prospects? Who are the individuals that I'm looking for, from a male to a female? How is she supposed to look? What are the things that she may like? Because let's be real, as men, you're going to observe this girl. You're going to be watching this girl from afar. You're going to be paying attention to her. You're going to be scoping she out, even if she's in the workplace, right? In the workplace, if she might be a co-worker, she might be somebody within your vicinity whereby you're seeing she every day, so you're going to scope, you're going to scope she out. I ain't say go out there be a stalker, right? I ain't say go out there to be a stalker. I say basically observe, right, respectfully, and then we know how to engage and so forth in regards to dating, right? So tell me something. I seem like the life stick. Let me come out and go back here. Nice. So, yo, Nats, where's the scene? Hey, I'm in and out. I'm in work, lol. Okay, cool. So, guys, I want all you to ask me any question in regards to dating based on my notes. Let me go and check out my notes. Right, so, as we say, in modern times, we're dealing with, whereby social media has evolved. You have the TikTok, you have the Instagram, you have the Facebook. And it becomes so easy now that, you could be able to connect with individuals via the social media, right? To the point where you could actually meet somebody today, and by the end of the week, you and them is boyfriend and girlfriend. And that's how far social media does work. Now, I believe in the traditional dating. And the reason being is like, boy meets girl, you take her out, you go and pick her up, you carry her out, so forth, you carry her out on a nice date, you talk, whatever the case may be. I believe more in the aspect of connection, right? And the reason being is that when you have the connection and having that true understanding of who you're dealing with, you basically have, you will not know everything within the first date, the second date, the third date. You will not know everything. There's a lot of things both parties going to keep close to the chest when it comes to conversation. But you're going to get a broad sense or an idea as to who you're dealing with. Even so to the point of you actually proposing to her to walk down the aisle and so forth, you're still not going to know everything. People tend to think that, okay, you're knowing a lot of stuff when it comes to coming to the dating and going into marriage, you figure that you know everything. You will not know everything. I've seen individuals 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years in a marriage, and they're still being surprised by a lot of things that they're supposed to. You understand? There are things that come out from them. And what tends to happen where that is concerned, basically situation do meet you. And when it do meet you, it brings out a different side of you. And basically how you deal with the situation. right? So sometimes you thinking to, and you and all might surprise yourself when you do deal with this situation or you're faced with this situation and be like, wait, I did this? I wow. You're shocked. You understand? Because of the fact that situation tend to deal with you like that type of way, whereby it brings out certain thing out of you. Right? So when you're when you're in the environment to whatever that situation there may be, you tend to actually, see something of yourself that you think wasn't there. You understand? So when you go into dating, the connection is important. Having the connection is important because of the fact that it gives you a sense of who you're dealing with. And let me be real, you can't hide for too long. So we talk about the dinner dating, now you have the coffee dating. As I say, locally in regards to Trinidad and Tobago and dealing with culturally, I would say carry them by the sea, carry them by the river, you have that nature walk, talk and whatever the case may be. See, you have no choice but to be raw, right? Your money only could cover so much. Your credentials could cover so much. But when you're in a place whereby you have no choice but to be yourself, come on. That is the best place to actually have that connection with this individual and have this conversation with this individual, whether male or female. Understand? Because, let's be real, a lot of us have masks and wear our masks in dealing with relationship and dealing with dating. Right? Now, the question I would have actually posed, and I really wish my co-host would have been here, right? We're dealing with transactional aspect also, right? So as I said before, we're dealing with connections, dealing with the one-on-one connection, and if you're going on date to have that transactional means, whereby you're going for the food, you're going for to know how much money you're working for, or vice versa, right? So the question was asked, does money equal stability or just dependency? Right? Can I love without financial support? Now, I asked him these questions, and I may have to ask them and answer them myself. Right? And let me go ask it again. Does money equal stability or just dependency? And can love survive without financial support? Now, I would have seen a survey about this on social media. And they did it in regards to ethnicity. Now, they questioned a number of Caucasian women, and then they questioned a number of African descent women, right? Now, the Caucasian women would have been like, okay, no, we about the connection, we about the conversation, we about real intimate talks and getting to know and that kind of stuff and thing. And they asked them the same question, can love survive without financial support? And they said yes. And these were the Caucasian women, right? Now, when it comes to the African women, right, they stated no. If you don't have money, you don't have love. And this was basically blown my mind. And I know it's social media, and most of the content we may get is basically from the US or from Europe and so forth. And I beg to differ, it may be a different type of way when it comes to our local, and I'm talking about local, Tobago women. Now, because of the example out there, I can't say for sure, right? That is what they may think. I know for me, my wife wasn't like that. She's not like that, in fact, I must say, in regards to, us, because I still date my wife. People just find it strange that does still happen. Yes, I still date my wife. Even though we're married for 14 years, I still date my wife. So when it comes to the idea of dating and so forth, and the transactional aspect of it where the money is concerned, we don't make money a priority. Yes, it is important. Yes, it brings somewhat of some comfort within the relationship, because you could be able to see about them children when it comes to school, you could be able to pay your rent, you could be able to pay your loans, you could be able to do this and you could do that, and whatever the case may be, financially. But when it comes to the fact that you have the money, right? Because I've seen many other individuals who don't say that, oh, they have the money, but then they have no comfort, they have no peace, because the wife's still uneasy, the wife still want more, and as much as they could be providing, she still want more. It because for me, in the understanding of that, it's not have nothing to do with the money, it have everything to do with intimacy, and it have everything to do with the connection. Right? And that's why I was always say before in previous episodes that it is important that individuals know themselves before they get into even self-dating. Know who you are as an individual, because at the end of the day, if you do not know yourself and you go into a situation whereby you do not know yourself, you're going to end up getting a 6 for a 9. And because you're in so deep, you catch your skin to come out. It's like you sign a contract and you sign your life away. And when you realize that you're so deep into that contract, you have no choice but to fulfill that contract. You know it's killing you, right? You know it's killing you. But at the end of the day, you have no choice but to fulfill that. Because guess what? It will cost you more if you come out of it. You understand? So by all means, I was always encouraged, know yourself, right? Know yourself. Know who you are, that inner person, that inner being, that person that you hide away from the trauma that you would have dealt with in the past, from your parents, from whoever the case may be, and you want to go into the world of dating. I'm gonna adamantly and always gonna say, know yourself. You understand? So let me see if anybody leave any comment here for me. Before I get back into the transactional part. Right. So Nazi saying here, yes, everything you're saying is true, but what I observe these days is that dating is not as it used to be. Some people have other motives, selfish personal reasons, and things go downhill from there, thus making it bad for the genuine ones. Most people getting tie up with social media, and what they don't realize is most things are not what they seem out there. And that is the truth. That is very, very true. We put on this mask, as I said before, we put on this mask when we're going out to the dating, but because we tend to believe that, you know what, you don't want nobody to see the real you. You understand? But let me tell you something. The dating world is for that. The dating world is for you to show who you really are. One of the things, and let me tell you something, and sorry for knocking the woman where this is concerned. I'm not a misogynist, so all of them come for me. All right? I'm just sharing an observation. Women tend to say that men lie. Okay? Many men would say, right, who really truly understand the dynamics of where that is concerned, gonna say, okay, yeah, lie. Yes, we lie. Here's how, and here's why. We lie because you lie to yourself. So for we to get the comfort of you is that we have to continue to lie to you because you lie to yourself. Again, some women gonna come for me for where this is concerned. But check this. God give all here, but yet still all take somebody else's here and put it on all here. Lie. All take all your own fingernail. God give all your own fingernail on your finger, all have on your finger, right? All your fingernail. You will take a fake fingernail and put it on your finger. Again, another lie. God give you your beauty, your natural beauty, and guess what you do? What would you do? Take makeup and put it on the natural beauty, and guess what you're saying? Is to enhance the natural beauty. Again, another lie. Now, put aside that. It is there, but put aside that for the time being. Right? It may sound funny, but this is the truth. This is how men look at things, right? You have the aspect whereby if I tell you the truth, right? You ever hear the term that the truth does make you uncomfortable, right? It is not appealing to your emotions. The truth does not appeal to emotions. You get upset with the truth. When you hear the truth, you get upset. You tend to get annoyed with the truth. You tend to get vexed with the truth. But guess what? If I lie to you, because the lie appeals to your comfort, because guess what? I am telling you what you want to hear. Let me give you an example. If we say, okay, let's say, for instance, I going out for the first time. I'm now going out in the world, the dating world for the first time. And I see you as a young lady, right? And I say, here is in a girl. I checking you out. I like you. Here is in. I figure you could just go straight to the bedroom and done it. And let's see where you go from there. That is the opening conversation. Right? That is the opening conversation. I'm not going to get another date. Think about it. If I come honest, if I come real with you and I tell you, hey, this is where we go jump straight to the bedroom. I want to go through wooing you and bringing flowers for you and carrying out on dates and carrying out on candlelight dates and spending a whole set of money or whatever the case may be. Let me cut it to the chase. Let's go straight to the bedroom, get that done, and let us see how we go from there. I'm not going to get a second date. So what do? We play into the facade of here what? Wooing all you. We're going to scare all out on dates. We're going to carry all out on the dinners. We go buy the fancy, buy a little bag or two, buy some flowers or two. We do that thing. We do that. We put in the work, I should say. Right? And guess what? You're going to go along with that. Now, the end goal for us as men, we looking for the sex. If I lie, or they tell me I lie. You understand? But the reality is basically we as men, if many of us come out here telling all the truth, half of us never gonna get a second date. So what we do? We play into the lie. We make sure we appeal to your comfort. You understand? I've seen this happen already with my own experience. I tell the truth. Outright, I tell the truth. And I get beat up for telling the truth. Right? Well, not literally beat up like face to face or nothing like that. But I get cussed out. I get, silent treatment, shrug off, whatever the case may be, for telling the truth. And in this same conversation, you know what I did? I lied. And when I lied, guess what happened? The individual was comfortable with the lie. I say, hold up. Wait. I told you the truth the first time. You did not believe that I told you the truth the first time. You get upset to the point that you convince yourself that was not the truth. And then I lie after the truth. And then you believe the lie. So the thing is that now when we see this happening in the dating scene, whereby, women appeal to the comfort, they appeal to familiarity and so forth, what do you expect us to do as men? Remember, as I said before, in dating, what we would do before we even ask a girl out is that we're going to observe this girl. We're going to pay attention to this girl. You understand? What she does, how she does, wear she clothes, or she wear she hair, the type of jewelry she wear, the kind of food she would eat. You would observe this girl. So if you observing this girl and you seen all these things that you think you seen, then guess what you're gonna come in do? You come in with some information as to how you could be able to sweep this girl off your feet. Let's be real. That's how men does do it. So then now in the dating world now, as I said before, people tend to put on a mask. And I'm really hoping that, the females would have been on the panel to contest what I was saying in regards to the point of view from men. You understand? But this is something that I figured I should change in women. Is either you accept the truth, and there's ways. Even though a man come and tell you the truth, here is sinner. I know that is, let's switch it around, whereby the man come and tell you the truth. There is something called critical thinking. And this is something that all women are supposed to adopt, right? If you don't have it. Something that you're supposed to learn, critical thinking. If the man approach you with the truth and he say, girl, at the end of the day, this is my end goal, right? No, I don't know if you're going to go further than that. And none of us do not know in the dating aspect if you're going to go further than that. You do not know. Many things could happen in between, right? But if he come forward and he tell us straight up, this is what does. All you have to say, well, here, I know that is your end goal, right? I know that is your end goal because, let's be real, if there have to be some attraction why the boy gonna talk to you or the man gonna talk to you in the first place. Right? Why? So let me go to the comments before I continue. It's more than sex, though, bro. Also, depending on the situation, circumstances, the approach may be more direct than others. Don't make it sound like all women are we approach, we actually want some from them either. No, I'm not saying that at the end of the that is all about sex. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that is what the case may be. But you have to understand this. The end goal is such. We don't try to deny that. The end goal is such. The end goal is to experience the sex with the young lady. Right? Yes, the conversation is there. Yes, you want the connection with the young lady and whatever the case may be. Yes, we know that is there. Right? That is there. Because you have to understand now, based on how we sex compared to how women see sex, we see it differently. By the way of sex, we tend to basically have we tend to learn more about ourselves and the connection that we could be able to grow with the young lady through sex. Tell me a lie. If I lie, when all get married and all get nothing, let us vex. As man, with us vex. We just go walk angry when we ain't get nothing. A lie? Come on, man. So there is some aspect within this sex that does give us the inkling, because we see it differently. You understand? We deal with it differently. You understand? We approach it differently. So on a real though, the end goal is to, yes, and I'm not saying that the long term, the intention is not there for the long term. Yes, the intention is there for the long term. A real man going to a relationship, seeking out after a relationship for really truly long term. Most men, you understand? They really seek for the long term. Then if it's a hit and run situation, you go no, because you go play. He go real play. You understand? And if he's a man like me, he go play by himself. And when I say play by himself, is that he will go on his scene and make him mischief with no friend. You have no friend wrong him. He like him Mission Impossible. You understand? He like Tom Cruise. You understand? He's the only person dealing with the action. Everybody else gonna be like tech support. You understand? But he's the one dealing with the action. At the end of the day, let's be real with ourselves, right? Is that the end goal is that you want to win this woman over. If it's for long term, you will know what game you're on. As a man, you will know what game you're on. You understand? So the end result, we know the in-betweens. We know the in-betweens. We're looking for the long-term relationship. We're looking for whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, is that you want to have sex. You understand? Because based on our idea and in the way in which we find connection as men, it happened for us through sex. You understand? Because let's be real. If 5 years down the road, right, this girl not giving you no time of the day, she always putting you off. She playing the game too, right? Been there, done that. And I was tracking this girl for 5 years. 5 years, I tell you. And I ain't getting no play at all. None. And it's after I leave school. This girl, I end up meeting this girl, and this girl say, she started code scripting. I think I tell the story already on the same platform. And the girl saying, good things come to those who wait. I say, you're preaching? Right? I tell her 5 years I've been the girl. Now getting to know the girl and things, well, I know her. I know her because we spent 5 years in school, we were friends still. But I did make it clear where I stand. I wanted her with she during the 5 years. But she put me off. But guess what? I still there knocking. Because I say at the end of the day, I must get you. It's after we leave school, we end up together. And then when we do end up together, it's because of the fact that I wasn't feeling it anymore. Because the 5 years that I was putting in the work, and I get ignored, when I leave school, I say, you know what? That is it. That's done. But then we end up and meet up. And then I only give it a try because of curiosity. I did done off. Right? I did done off because my invested time was taken for granted. You understand? And when we do, I give it a chance, trying to see if she really for me and things, stay away from she for a week and thing. By the next week when I meet up with the girl get boyfriend already. The girl move on. The week that I give she's a sabbatical, the girl give me a sabbatical. She said, you give me sabbatical? You ain't getting no sabbatical. She move on. You understand? So her intention wasn't really and truly, and really and truly, her intention, it was so desperate to me, is that all she wanted was sex. And I find now, I'm the hunter. And why you hunting me? Why you so aggressive? Why you so somewhat authoritative in regards to where this is concerned? I was afraid. I said, you have something to share, and I'm not taking that. And I stay away from that girl. I make up a story and say, girl, I had too much respect for you, girl. I can't do you that. And whether I give you some kind of praise just because, well, I do not. Because it was funny. It feel uncomfortable because of the fact that she was too aggressive. Yeah? Good night. Yo, Rose, where's the sea, blessed love? Right? So as Dave as Dane, as I was saying, yeah, we have the in-betweens. We nobody in-betweens. So in regards to dealing with transactionals, we know that when it comes to the first date, women tend to have a lot of questions. Right? I don't know if it's a while. No, I just date my wife. So the conversation when me and my wife would have in dating, it's not gonna be as if it wouldn't be the same as somebody meeting up for the first time, right? So it's 14 years out of the dating scene, right? The actual dating scene. So all that to tell me where that is concerned and tell me if I'm going right. Most times the questions, women would ask questions, men would ask questions, getting to know whatever the case may be. I could remember in my time in dating, I would have still to be honest with all you, I bullshit a lot of women. To be honest. Because I wasn't really, in my mind, I only talking or having the conversation because of the fact that is the process you have to take. You understand? That is the process you have to take. But on a real, I really wasn't on the conversation thing, Because I see the girl, I like the girl, I ready to smack cheeks. To be honest with you. You understand? But I only go through the rules and the regulations of the wooing and the iron and whatever the case may be, and buying the flowers and buying the cakes and all these things and making, calling she up to see how she going or whatever the case may be. I wasn't really on that, to be honest. You understand? I see she, I like she, and I wish I could have been that real with her. You understand? So the only, when it comes to my wife, I should say, that was before my wife, when it comes to my wife, she was real as me. And that blew me out. You understand? That blew my mind out. Both figuratively and literally. You understand? If we look read between the lines. You understand? And that was it for me and her. And from, again, 14 years down the road. So evidence speaks. Is that the truth for me, as it was always said, the truth does set you free. And the truth did set us free. Because as I say, 14 years down the road, evidence. You understand? Because I wasn't in, it's now I would buy the flowers, it's now I would go on the dates. We would do things together, that type of thing, we go socially. You understand? And it took me a while, she would tell her, it took me a while for me to go, because I'm a homebody. I don't like I never did like the social environment. You understand? It took a lot for me to get to that point. And now, we're going out, we're dating. So sometimes we think that we have a handle on the aspect of the talking and the wooing and the whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's good, right? It's good because it means that women would have actually set some boundaries, right? And this is me talking on the woman perspective. The aspect of the woman saying, for the men saying, wanted to tell the truth, whatever the case may be, I could flip it and say, okay, with the women doing the things that they're doing, for us to actually come on that plane whereby we wooing them, we bringing the flowers, we calling them, sending text messages, whatever the case may be, doing the work leading up to getting the girl, basically you could see it as boundaries, right? They're setting some boundaries because you wouldn't want, let's be real, as a father to daughters, you wouldn't want your daughter to push herself out there too, like that. You understand? Let's be real. So this is me talking on the flip side, whereby with the female perspective. Tell me if I'm wrong. It could be a situation whereby, and I say could be because I know for sure I need to get a female perspective. But for the females on the chat, all let me know. From a female perspective, it could really be a situation whereby they are setting boundaries, right? And we have to abide by those boundaries. You understand? Now, our boundaries as men, our boundaries come after we would have gained the woman, right? We would have gained the woman. We would have gotten her. You know, we're still dating, but we make it exclusive that, or we make it whereby that's my girlfriend, boyfriend. You understand? Be exclusive, right? I is a man, you is my woman. And from that point, there's where now men boundaries step in. You can't wear where you want, right? If you're my girlfriend, yeah, there's some things, you know, there's some things that and you know, in the dating you could have wear where you want because you're one woman, whatever the case may be. Now, why again? Some people might attack me for this, but always boyfriend and girlfriend, anything could happen. They still count as single. But if we had the conversation, though, right? Think about this. This could either work for you or work against you. And I'm talking about the woman here. It could either work for you or work against you. Men boundary steps in when by we decide to say, okay, boyfriend and girlfriend. Or let's understand that, right? Now, when I say as the boyfriend, now when I say girl, here, you see where you used to wear when you was single and I was dating and thing. All them things was nice and well for me and appealing to me. That will get me attracted to you. But if we're making this thing exclusive now, whereby I'm your boyfriend, you is my girlfriend, and we're looking at that trajectory of having to go into a long-term relationship, you know, there are some things you can't win. But guess what? Most women will come back and say, well, you're trying to control me. You understand? What happened? Oh, you're no boundary. You're trying to manipulate me, and these are the trigger words they tend to use. But this, you know, I go through the process of dealing with the win and the flowers buying and the gift giving and all them things there because of the boundaries that you would have set. And it was all well, fine and good with me. But as soon as we make it exclusive and my boundaries and my things step into play, I'm manipulative. I control it. Or like where I'm coming from? So Dane was saying here, I've seen men lie about what they do to GT, and sadly, it's the girls that would have rejected me. It's sadly that the girls that would have rejected me were the ones that fell victim to their bullshit, well, to the BS. Right? That is so true. That is very, very true. And they will say, well, good men finish last. And the reason why good men finish last is because they never put themselves available. They never put themselves available. And I'm saying that and I'm kind of like second guessing that conversation there. And you know the reason why? I was a good boy. I was the good boy for the 5 years I troubled in this girl. Very good boy. But guess who she ended up with? She ended up with the bad boy. You understand? It's after she go through the heartbreak, the horning, the slapping she face. You understand? Guess what? No, she want to give the good boy. At the time I used to go to church, so they used to call me church boy. She want to give the church boy the play. After you don't go through so much of trauma, you want me now to come, you want to come with me now for me to do what now? To fix you? For me to deal with all your trauma, then you go inadvertently give me your trauma, and now I have to deal with trauma when I go into my next relationship. I'll look at where I'm coming from. You understand? So, in regards to the boundaries aspect of the dating, right? The aspect of boundaries come in when men decide to say, here what? Babes, you can't do what you used to do before. It's me and you now. You understand? I know when men looking at all day. I know when men watching all day. So if you dressing in the same skimpy clothes when I was single, right? Okay, fine, you catch me. Yeah, you catch me with the skimpy clothes. But hey, what? I know what day. You understand? I know what day. By that time you reach there, Trust me, nowadays, it's not like based on, even though you're in church or without church, by the third, fourth date, already has sex. So the man know what underneath. So he trying to protect now you, and you seeing it as manipulation. Right? No, I agree. And I'm going to say this again because people tend to take my words and twist it and turn it. I agree. If we do tell the truth, and we say, okay, at the end goal, I just want to get sex with you, whatever the case may be, and you decide to say, here what? Nah, let me take it one day at a time. Let me see how this go, whatever the case may be. Go through the process now, win. Even though you may not say it word for word, that would be the reaction. We agree, okay, fine. We go through the win. We go through the flowers buying. We go through the gift giving. You understand? We will do it. Right? But at the end of the day, if we recognize that as boundaries, right? Because a real man would recognize that as a boundary. When we do become exclusive, understand that what I'm offering also is setting boundaries also. You understand? So the dating stops after we reach boyfriend and girlfriend. Or no, the dating doesn't stop when you reach boyfriend and girlfriend. The dating continue. But remember, when you're exclusive, men tend to put a little bit more of interest or invested interest in the woman. You understand? Because she dating he now. And when I say dating, the dating continues. In fact, dating doesn't stop. You could date right up until you're married. And when you're married, after you're married, you could continue dating. Dating doesn't stop. You understand? It's just that you have different levels to it. Because as I said before, the conversation that I have with my wife, and I dating my wife, we are married, yes, but I'm dating my wife, is that we don't have the conversation as if we just starting off. You understand? The conversation tend to be a little bit different. You understand? So, again, to answer your question, a boyfriend and girlfriend, dating doesn't stop. What I'm saying is that when it comes to the boundaries in regards to the dating aspect, is that when we become exclusive and we're still dating, because by the third, fourth date, come on, you're already having sex. All right? By the third, fourth date, you're already having sex. So by all means, I see what I see, I love him what I see, and we're going good. But at the end of the day, as a man, I had to set some boundaries too. Because if I leave you while out there, as to how you was single, and you're dressing where everything showing, your breast showing, your whole nature showing, whatever the case may be, and then you're operating like you're single, like Orlando C, right? You hire a man, boy, operating like you're single. You have to understand how that going to look to you if I operate with that. And I'm going to use this quote. A woman's mouth is equivalent to a man's fist. And I mean that metaphorically and literally. Metaphorically, you could put it into this context whereby, based on what you would do in theory, we're going to do it in action. And we're going to do it worse. In fact, we're going to make you feel worse. You understand? Hence why I just always say it is best that even if you're a woman or man, male or female, it is best that you know yourself. I will not stop. I will never cease to stop. I will never cease saying this. Sorry. It is always important to know yourself. Right? I can't be your Superman. Then he's saying I can't be your Superman. Can't be your Superman. I can't be your Superman. This sounds like a quote from a song. Right? Sound like a quote from a song. Right? So, as I say, when it comes to women don't understand the dynamics behind that creed black. It stems from a man's protective nature. And I believe you're talking about in regards to setting boundaries. Yes. When we set the boundaries within the relationship, you have to understand that is us protecting you. Let's be real. Let me tell you something. There are rare predators out there. You understand? And I'm talking about male predators. There are male predators, and we know them. We know the look. We know how we would watch you. We know where is the aggression level, because we are part of the same pack. We are all males. So if I'm saying, babes, hey, guard yourself. I know where you have. If you had to dress like that for me home. In fact, you don't want to have on nothing home. You understand? Or even say when you come by me or when I go by you. Do that for when we together. You see, when we go out, hey, as much as cover it up now. You understand? Cover it up. So when it comes to us setting boundaries, our boundaries come after the exclusive part. When we have the conversation, we say, okay, that's my boyfriend, that's my girlfriend. You understand? So it's something that we look after, we try to protect, we try to guard. We want to save we investment, because if and it may sound like a transactional situation, but if I'm invested in you, you have to understand I'm emotionally invested in you, I spiritually invested in you, mentally, physically invested in you as the female. Likewise, because people just think that okay, this relationship thing is a one-way thing. No, it's a mutual thing. We mutually benefiting from this relationship or from this agreement. You understand? So some women just tend to say, oh, you need to provide, you need to protect. Let me tell you something. A man already know that coming into the relationship. So when we was talking about the financial aspects before, right? We already know. You got to school us on and providing for you. You got to school us on protecting you. You got to do that. We already come into the relationship or coming into the dating scene knowing that is what we got to do or what we're supposed to do. That is within our nature. So you don't have to itemize that you need to get bills paid or you need to get your rent paid and you need to get this and you have to be working for this amount of money and whatever the case may be. No. What we're trying to get with you is meaningful conversations and a connection. By the way whereby, by the means whereby, if the money do run out, what do you do? Listen to me. Some women don't even understand what is womanhood. So when they go in with those expectations and then they get disappointed, you know the reason why you're getting disappointed in the dating scene when you go with that expectation is because no, you're placing a demand on somebody. Right? You're placing a demand on somebody. Now, if I demand you or I demand something of you, being the female, I'm the male, and I demand something of you, guess what your response would be? Who is you? You're not my father. You're not my mother. Right? That's the response. And we're talking about our society, Tobago. That is how they operate. Most women operate like that. You understand? Whereby they would give you a tongue lashing. You understand? They will give you a tongue lashing. So if, right, I am protecting my investment and I'm coming into the dating scene whereby I'm looking for that meaningful connection, it is known to a fact that I would have to do every single thing that is needed for you to be protected. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, every lead that you could think about, we already have that set in stone. The reason why, right? The reason why we just have to accumulate what we need to accumulate before we could even say ask you out is because we already know we have to provide those things. So don't come when I'm dating you, when I see her looking prim and I looking proper and I see her driving a nice car and I hear her house and whatever the case may be and whatnot. Don't be, hey fellas, don't be fooled. They just do the investigation. Eh? From the time you give she a signal that you're looking at she does do she investigation. She does talk to she friends. She does talk to mutual friends, friends of friends of friends about you. So don't feel she did quiet. No, she investigating you. So things she gonna know about before you even say you go and tell she. And guess what I'm saying is that we already know. So when we come into the dating scene, don't come and ask me how much money I'm making. I don't want to hear that. You understand? That is a conversation I do not want. I want to know what we could do together to make this thing viable, to make this thing make sense. You understand? For this to make sense. So the thing is, don't come into the relationship with transactional means. A woman actually said this in an interview, before I get back to the comments. Said this in that interview. She divorced her husband after 5 years because one of her criteria or expectations were he wasn't supposed to lose his job. Think about that. Good, you think about it. He wasn't supposed to lose his job. This woman, when this man actually loses his job, this woman walk away from the marriage. Because what? He didn't have the means again to pay rent. He didn't have the means again to pay all the bills. He didn't get the means to send her shopping or whatever the case may be. Now, listen to the logic of where this is concerned. She walked away from the marriage. And guess what? She is renting. She have to pay her own bills. She have to buy her own clothes. She have to do her own shopping and whatever the case may be. Everything financially, she have to stand on it by herself. It didn't make, would it, think about it. It would have made better sense, right? Because guess what? It would not keep the man long to get up again, because you hear what the innate nature of a man is to provide and to protect. So if by all means he loses his job, right? And you can't handle that for 6 months until he could be able to get back on his feet. Well, you wasn't a woman, you wasn't supposed to marry in the first place. Hardly unlikely a man would walk away from a relationship. And based on statistics, it is shown. Half of the divorces out there is women walking away from the marriage because they want more. I've seen, I've heard so many stories where women walk away from the marriage because they want more. I was telling you earlier about a particular story with this woman saying that, okay, she wanted more. They had different goals and dreams. It is expected to have different goals and dreams. Yes, the two becomes one, but one of the one and the one, each one, I should say, are individual. They are their own individual. Therefore, the man would have his dreams. The woman would have her dreams. What would it take for you to support your man's dream? And what would it take for the man to support the woman's dream? And both all eat and both all share. Because at the end of the day, if wherever the man get and he been successful in it, or whatever he's striving for and he's successful in it, who gets the benefit of that though? Tell me, think about it. But yet still, when it comes to the dating scene, and it starts there, it starts from the foundation. If you go into the relationship based on transactional means, I'm not saying for some people it does work. For somebody, because the man coming with the same thing. If that is the game I want to play, okay, fine. You go sign a prenup. Make sure you sign a prenup so I can protect my money and you can protect your money. We go have different bank account. You have your bank account, I have my bank account. When you buy grocery for you, I go buy grocery for me. Tell me what kind of household that makes it. That makes sense. You better stay single. Because I know two become one. You just get married because you want to say you get married to the public. You understand? Back to the severe tongue lashing at that. Women do right, so Rose said true indeed. Yeah. So let me know if I'm making sense. Because at the end of the day, you see when the foundation is set, you can't move it. I want to build a house. And you start from the foundation. By the way of, you put in your steel, you tie in your ground beams, you lay your cement, you set the concrete. And you start to pull up your pillars so you can be able to run your blocks. I want you to move that. Wherever is set there, that is set. If it bend, it bend. Right? If it's straight, it's straight. Wherever the foundation set, when the foundation set, it's set. So when you come into the dating scene, I would rather, is either you're going to it transactionally or you're going it for having true connection. Right? I would rather you're going for true connection. Because a man already know what he need to do in regards to even self him being that prospect for you, the woman. He already know. So this wild thing all of us be doing, whereby, how much money you have in your bank account, and if you don't have this, and if you can't provide this, or whatever the case may be. No, that is not for you. That is not for you. Because at the end of the day, you know how this look when down the road started happen? That's not easy for you to take on. No? Because when the tables turn, when he started to operate transactional within the relationship, you have to understand, when you give off in the foundation, it does repeat down the road. Eh? Whether you give off here in the beginning, it does repeat down the road. We don't say about karma. You understand? It does say about karma. You know what is it you're coming with that idea? Okay, you say, all right, cool. You want to be transactional? Cool, all right. He go woo you for 5 years. In fact, he go play a mass for 5 years. He go wear a mask for 5 years. And make sure he get in a place where he could do what he had to do. And guess what? The money that you think you getting, you getting it, and another woman getting it. I see where men walk into I have a friend of mine, close friend of mine. Her husband walked straight into the maternity ward while she was pregnant and come and introduce to her his wife. This woman was married to the same man that brought in his wife, which is our next woman. Me and tell you, I don't know lie here. This happened right here in Tobago. She married to this man for 5 years. They had a business, the business going good, prospering, making money. Making good money. And she said, you know what, since that we're making good money, I decided to make some children. I decided to make a child frame. Boom, she ended up and get pregnant with twins. Right? She come and get pregnant with twins. Guess what happened? He come and introduce his wife. Right? His wife. Not Sheena. Another woman. So I'm telling you, people could wear a mask for 5 years. People could wear a mask for 10 years. So anytime you go into a relationship, and I'm not saying that what she did, she go into the relationship with transactional. She was walking behind this man, but he was on the transactions. Because guess what? He used her for the means by whereby she would have invested in the business. Should have invested time in the business. Should have done what she could have, should have put towards the business. And when the business started flourishing, guess what? He looked for another woman. You understand? So I'm saying, going into the dating scene, the best way to deal with that is to come clean. Straight up. A youth man asked me that same question. You rather, should I tell my woman everything about me, or I should wait? I said, brother man, they does always say this thing here. Well, people say the pastors come back to haunt you. Would you like to have the past come back to haunt you when you're like 2 children in, 10 years down the road in the marriage? You understand? With another child on the way, and the past come back? Brother man, you have a lot more to lose. You're going to lose children, you're going to lose house, and you're going to lose finances. Because divorce is very expensive. It's very expensive, so think about it. I tell him, I say, hey, tell she everything you need to tell she straight up. Let she choose whether she going to stay with you or not. And if a man come honest, that honest to you, this is where your critical thinking is supposed to step in. This is where your eyes and discernment needs to step in. This is where your intuition needs to step in. But many other times, we'll let us be blinded by the aesthetics and what people are saying around here. Because it's very easy to convince a woman once you convince her friends. Very easy. Convince her friends and they convince a woman. You convince a woman. The woman is the target, but convince the friends. Take out the friends and them. Amuse them. Blind them with aesthetics and flams and whatever the case may be. Guess what? And then now, it could happen both ways. You take out the friends and them with all of them together to the thing and you do. It could happen so. You know what happened? The friends, when they go in the secret place and they're talking by themselves. Guess what? Girl is a good man. He's real nice. You see how he's spending the money? You see he don't afraid to spend the money? Whatever. Them gonna convince she. Now there's another way it could happen too. Care the woman that you target. And when you target that woman, you come out with everything. You take out all the stops and you're impressive. You understand? He's an impressive man out there. Guess what she going to do? This happened, I tell her, I see this happen so many times. She going back and talk to her friends and saying, oh, he's a nice man. He's a real man. He's a caring man. He's seen about my needs. He do this, he doing that. What case may be. You know what she's doing? She's convincing her friends to approve of you by the means of telling her, yeah, he's a good man. Well, you understand what I said? So by you dealing with she going back to them, talk to them, Let her get rolls up with the idea that she got a good man, whatever the case may be. Right? She's showing evidence. Oh, he buy this purse to me. He buy these shoes to me. And thing. He just picked me up from work. You know, this is when we went out into this dinner. You see the kind of plate, you know, boom. Was she looking for approval from them? And guess what? They will approve because of the fact that every single woman is impressed by aesthetics. The only woman that does not be impressed by aesthetics is women who have been through it before. Or they're going to tell me a lie. And it's according to her upbringing too. If she had a strong upbringing and she's not impressed by aesthetics, yo, let me tell you something. If you find a one, keep her. Keep her. Because guess what? She know how woman she is. I just always tell them when brothers and them, when we talking and thing. Anytime I hear I talk to a girl and I see she leans so, it's because she a woman she is. I could get she. You understand? Anytime I see she lean, I could get she. You understand? So guys, it was nice chatting with all you. It wasn't many all online, but I really appreciate their participation. And we're going to continue. Hopefully my guests gonna be out, right? And I seem like I don't rely on the fellas now, right? I don't rely on the fellas, but I would need for the conversation to be balanced, right? Because because remember we was off for a little while and we didn't for 2 weeks I think, 2 or 3 weeks I think, it was off and we was finishing up on the previous episode with the guests. So since that she did not make it tonight, the idea was to finish off with her and then bring in some guys for the next part of it, right? To hear some perspective from some guys, right? So guys, it was nice, it was lovely. Again, we could always touch base, or you always could go on the Facebook page. And again, we're on YouTube. We don't give a sip on YouTube. We don't give a sip on Facebook, right? Remember that when it comes to Facebook videos only up for 30 days. After 30 days, Facebook deletes the videos, right? We have no control over that. But when it's on YouTube, it's on YouTube. So even though it's not on Facebook, you could always go back to YouTube and you could look back at the videos, all right? Hopefully, for us to boost up on the videos on YouTube, I will start to do some reels, right? So we could be able to have like key moments and key points and have them on the reels, on YouTube reels and on Facebook reels. It seems like the reels are the ones that they're not taking on because it seems like it's more shorter videos or shorter clips. But the long videos basically is what they're taking off. They stated, actually they sent out the notice and they stated that they're trying to ease up on server space. Right? So the long videos, instead of they stay on the server, they're just going to delete them. Understand? After they get the numbers. So, guys, again, I appreciate it. Yeah, Rose, I appreciate it. All right, she's saying great program. Yes. Right. Nice. So even though I was my lonesome self, I hope I was able to kind of impart some knowledge based on experience, based on observation. All right. As I said before, I'm no way an expert in where relationships in general is concerned. I only are exporting mine. I know how I deal with mine. You understand? And based on what I would have said, it may not go for everybody because some people would really go with the transactional means and they deal with a relationship based on transactions. You understand? And it's not a healthy thing because there are consequences. Let me be real with this and I'll go close with this. There are consequences to what method you use. And I should have made that in the first point. There are consequences to what method you may use. If you use the intimate aspect where you're wanting that connection, it's known that you're dealing with somebody that you know very well. What makes them tick, that kind of stuff. You're getting to know this individual, right? If you're dealing with it, but based on a transactional means, it means that understand how business works. You don't talk everything in your business. So therefore, if it's a transactional relationship, you don't talk everything within your relationship. Get what I say? So, in the method that you may be using, understand there's consequences to what you may use. And the one with transactional, it means that that's a detriment down the road. The one with the connection, it means that because of the nature of the woman knowing of herself and understanding her womanhood, and the man knowing of himself, understanding his manhood, guess what? Anything could happen out of that. Anything can happen. So guys, ABW Signature Media Plus, big up to Dev, technical man, big up to Mr. Andy for the space, big up to the Lightsman Pete, right? We appreciate it. Love, we still appreciate for the numbers that came on. As long as snuffy. Right? Appreciate the numbers that come in, people who have been interactive, and we're going to see again next Sunday. All right? And we're going to go deeper into the conversation. Blessed love, love and light. See you all then.